Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Family and Finance. My name is Rose Joshua. We're back with somebody whose face is familiar now. We
Hey,
started talking about real estate, and I'm like, there's a lot more to be said. So let's bring back Joseph Guziak, the real estate guru. So he's back with us. Joseph, thank you so much for your time. God bless
hey,
you.
absolutely. Thank you. No, you
Welcome
also.
back.
Thanks for having me back again. I mean, the one that we chat is kind of on residential real estate and for first time buyers is great, but I think what's happening right now, given the current market situation, is people are seeing Alberta and specifically Edmonton like the place on sale. And if you look at our
Yes.
average housing prices, we are around half of the national average. We're a capital city. The rental prices are great. There's lots of economic growth, lots of job opportunities. We pay 5% in GST and no provincial sales tax. We have one of the lowest land sales transfer taxes on real estate. People don't talk enough about that. So on new home construction, you're paying only 5% on that purchase of that home. That's saving
Mhm.
you 7% across the other provinces, right? And now with so that in and of itself is big for investors.
Yeah, great for investors.
Mm.
So we talked about buyers in our first session. And so now we're going to talk about investors.
Mm.
So sometimes people have money sitting in their checking savings account that they don't know what to do with it. And
Yeah.
they're asking me questions like, okay, Rose, should I invest in real estate? Should I buy stocks and bonds? What should I do with this money? So tell us, what do you tell people who have money to spend?
Enjoy your life, first of all.
Of course.
Second of all, it's I think diversity is key with anything, right? I mean, I'm very heavily focused, obviously, in real estate, but I'm
Mhm,
not biased, and I'd be crazy to say you should have all your money in real estate and only real estate, right? We have
mhm,
cryptocurrency, we have our own investments, tax-free savings accounts. We had our RRSP for the first-time home buyers when we bought our first home, right?
mhm,
So I was utilizing investing my money, sticking it in the marketplace, letting the money grow for me. Then I would be able to take my money plus the growth, use it to purchase our home. That's how we did our first home, right? The
mhm,
second home, it was different. I was actually able to use it from personal sources. We sold enough homes with one builder that the commissions funded my second down payment. But the third home that we bought, we were actually able to utilize again our tax-free savings accounts, personal savings, and we utilize it to that purchase. So I think a good combination of everything is a good answer. But at the end of the day, real estate is so powerful because if you had $100,000 sitting in a bank account, at a 5 or 8 or 10% rate of return, that's great. That's going to yield you good results. But
mhm,
now you could take that $100,000 and you could maybe invest it in a couple different real estate properties, right? You could take 25,000 of that, buy a $500,000 home for yourself, take that remaining 75,000 and use it as a nice chunk on the next property. You'd need a
mhm.
little bit more, but you can automatically already buy two homes. If you had a larger amount, $500,000, well, now you have the potential capacity to be buying 4 or 5 different homes and leveraging your investments versus just having them grow. So that's one angle of looking at that, right? Leveraging your money and having it working more exponentially for you.
Right. Kind of using
Mhm.
other people's money.
Essentially,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you encourage diversity. Listeners, I hope everybody's paying attention. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. Real estate, stocks, bonds. He mentions different investment vehicles. Your TFSC, your RRSP. Have a balance. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, so then, question for you, Mr. Joseph. Uh, what are some of the things to look out for when somebody wants to invest in real estate? Okay, so two questions. What kinds of real estate investment opportunities are there? I know that there's rental,
Mhm.
there's Airbnb,
Mhm.
there's what again?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then when somebody wants to buy an investment property, what are some of the loopholes? What are some of the things they should worry about?
Well, the number one thing about property is actually before you finalize on a property, people, the one thing that they miss often overlook, agents and clients themselves, and we're very focused on it, is making sure that the purchaser has acquired home insurance prior to finalizing on that home. We have run into
Yes.
situations where agents have called me outside of my firm because my agents do know better. I talk about this all the time. Do not
Mm,
finalize without having home insurance in place. Out of town investors were buying properties here, potentially something that the insurance companies didn't like when it comes to things maybe due to age or poly B plumbing or all sorts of different things. And yeah, they got the mortgage funded from a different province, but now they're not getting home insurance because they live in Ontario. The home is in Edmonton. The home is 100 years old. So make sure you're
mm,
protected with that first and foremost. The other thing is understanding, right? Like we get calls and people are wanting to do speculation buying, which is fine. We did it ourselves. We can have another conversation on that, but basically buying a home with the anticipation that it's going to go up in price and sell it. But they're looking at
yes.
places in just the most random homes, thinking, oh yeah, this random $120,000 home will be worth 240 in 2 years from now. Be cautious, right? Because it might be in not the greatest area of Edmonton. And
Hmm.
there's not the greatest areas of Edmonton exist all across Canada, by the way. I've been in some
Yes.
dodgy places in BC and Ontario myself, right? So understanding where the actual marketplace is and doing your own research. So some
Mm,
sources I like to look at is if I'm going to be renting a property or talking to my clients, potential clients about rental opportunity, I show them, for example, Rent Faster. It's a
mhm.
website that you can see what people are asking on the websites and compare
Yeah.
pricing and see what you can do. If you're going to buy a property to rent short term on Airbnb or Verbo, understand the city guidelines and bylaws because it is a business, right? So you need to operate it. One
Mhm.
thing people think that they can buy a non-legal or a nanny suite or whatever they want to call it without permits and they can Airbnb it. Well, technically, the city will find out that you have that you don't have permits for your basement suite, and that'll go
Mhm.
south really quick. The
Mhm.
Airbnb properties, the Verbo properties, they need to be permitted properties, right? So those would probably be the main things is doing your due diligence with home insurance, with the city bylaws to make sure that what you want to do is going to actually be doable.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. How about home inspections?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the one thing, I guess the one reason why people from out of province are successfully acquiring properties outside of province and they're more successful in the purchases versus the local people is a lot of them are coming with very limited conditions, quick conditions,
Right.
2 3 days, maybe a home inspection, maybe just an unconditional offer. So these guys and gals are just saying, you're asking 400, here's 400, or here's 420, take it tonight, we're sold, right?
Mm,
The challenge with that, especially if you haven't physically viewed the property and you're just requiring someone maybe just looking on a camera, is there could be defects and we can't see behind the walls, we can't see through the roof, we can't see moisture. So the benefit of spending that 4 or 500, we've done home inspections on brand new builds. I've done two in the home that we're in right now, and on the home that we're acquiring, we're gonna do one as well too, and those are brand new builds. So you'd be
mhm.
crazy not to put on your 1968 bungalow that just was recently renovated. But we've run into situations actually, speaking of this investment opportunity, client of mine, we found a home, beautiful property. Of course, it had to be while I was away in Nashville. This perfect home came up for sale, right? It's like, of course, thank you so much.
Yes.
Always happens. Real estate rule of one. If your realtor is on a vacation, it's okay. That means your home is going to come up for sale. Exciting news for the buyer. But we did
Yes.
this home inspection and it was terrible. We ran a sewer scope, which most people don't actually do on inspections, and that breaks some stuff, and that's an 8 to 10, maybe more $1,000 fix. But we ran a sewer scope. The sewer line had collapsed. The sellers, in my opinion, probably could have known about it because there was a broken auger bit in there. But people do a home inspection, but they don't do a sewer line scope to see if your sewer
Mm,
line has any breaks or any sags or any corrosion
mm,
or any of that. So we walked away from that one. Then we did a home inspection yesterday. Guess what happened? Massive root through the sewer line. The house is completely renovated, beautiful, top to bottom, everything, no issues. It's a detached garage, 1960s, so who cares about the garage? But the house was immaculate. The sewer line, route going through the sewer sag, but the nice thing was it's on the city property line, so Epcot's gonna
Mm.
come, they're gonna dig it up, fix it, make it pretty, not the buyer's problem. So we were able to finalize. But imagine we didn't do that inspection on that last one, all that poop water is coming right back into that house, right? And
My
they,
goodness, I can't even imagine it. Like
yeah,
it's scary to think of it.
yeah, I'd be
But
smelly
you're
to think
talking
about it.
wow, it is. It is. Yeah. I started thinking and I stopped. See what coming back into the house. Crazy. Okay,
Mm,
okay. That's some of the things that real estate investors see. I know, I know. So
mhm,
then you're talking about 1960s houses. Like these
mhm.
houses are like 60 years old. People are still living in those houses.
We're gonna probably need to do another one of these on short-term rentals, so I can just explain and show you what we do for our properties.
Okay,
But my
okay.
biggest, my most profitable property is my 1968 bungalow in Northeast Edmonton. And
1968 bungalow. And
yeah,
so what do you use it for? How are you investing
so
in it?
it's an Airbnb and a rental split. So upstairs it's an Airbnb and downstairs it's long-term rental. And so the
Okay.
Airbnb, we have it designed really cool. It's a really cool concept how we had it done. Partially because we were getting cabin fever from the COVID word. So we needed to renovate our house to make it look cool so it didn't feel like we were trapped in our home, and we made it look like a massive 25-foot wallpaper. We made it really look cool. So when we're getting, it may be a little bit harder to sell, but when we're getting Airbnb bookings, it's booked all the time
Yes.
because
Yeah.
people want that
Okay.
cool experience. And so that 1968 bungalow, it's 1,000 square feet. It gives a really good open plan for people that are looking
Yeah.
for, instead of paying $200-300 a night for a hotel, they can pay $150 and they can enjoy a kitchen, they can enjoy all of that stuff. So people are shifting
Interesting.
now from just long-term to maybe a mix of long-term, short-term rentals, or just
Yeah.
short-term, short-term. Yeah.
Wow. That
Mm.
is creative. So knowing that it's an older property, difficult to sell as a house, difficult to rent out long term, you're using it for short term. That's
Well,
very smart.
it wouldn't be difficult to sell the way we designed it with like the wallpaper and all of that stuff. It would be an easy way to fix it, but just the way it looks right now, it gives it that hotel vibe that we want to
Yes.
book. It's a unique experience, right? So
That's a
there's so
brilliant idea.
yeah, there's so many ways to enhance the potential income that people are getting nowadays. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay,
Mhm.
sounds good. So listeners, you're hearing from the real estate guru Joseph Guziak. He said a lot of good things. I'm learning actually. I'm in real estate myself, but I'm learning a lot from Joseph. Just talking about this thing you said about 1968 home and how you're making money from it is really amazing because normally I stay away from older properties.
Mhm.
I go for
Yeah.
brand new. I go for, builders most of the time. But yeah, being able to creatively invest in properties and leverage everything to your best advantage. Investors, that's for you. Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, Joseph, is there any other topic that you'd like to educate us on?
Yeah, a big thing that people are looking at Canada for opportunities is the fact that we do build, and it seems like we're very focused on suite building. We have been for quite a while. So what people are seeing is the fact that if you buy a brand new home, if you're an investor, you do have that opportunity with the warranty, so you know your home is secure, right? And you're not really going to have issues. You're not going to be getting calls at 2 o'clock in the morning from a tenant or from the property manager saying, "Hey, my hot water tank stopped working. Hey, my
Mhm,
furnace stopped." They can literally call the number on the furnace and the thing, and the people will come, right?
mhm,
So that's why I feel like, someone like yourself is drawn to newer homes and things like that. And yes, absolutely. Right. So that is what is causing us to suffer in the Edmonton real estate market for new homes.
mhm.
My wife and I, so I'm literally, a year ago when we moved in, it was our row of houses, and then there was the row of houses we face, and behind it was just all dirt. Now we have all roads. It literally looks like a concrete graveyard with all foundations poured. And I messaged my builder, hey, like how many of these are available? He said they're all sold. So every single
Wow.
house, these guys didn't even bother putting sold stickers. So you're driving around thinking maybe you can find your client something, and all of these concrete foundations
And they're all
exist.
gone.
One of them gone. So
Wow.
like, I'm looking at a home, the last home for sale on my block, instead of them being 1550 to 1700 square feet like ours, it's 900 square foot, 2-story with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms upstairs. Main floor is just a living room and a kitchen. 900 square foot,
900 900?
400K. House, lot, 3K in appliances, 900 square feet, 400K. Here you go. You need a third bedroom? No, you don't, because the reality is most people aren't in that situation where they're gonna be able to have 2 and 3 children. It's a 0 to 1 child household that's starting to be the new
Yes.
trend.
Yeah.
Right.
And in that stage, they're downsizing to apartments. By the time, we retire, downsize, no kids, to an apartment or to a 900, something smaller, 1,000 square feet. That's crazy. Okay, so how about affordable housing? Like, when I say affordable housing, um, a lot of people have money. Okay, they may qualify for what do you call it? A detached home, front garage, all of that. They may qualify for $1 million. Okay. But then they choose to say, okay, you know what, I'd rather get myself like a townhouse. Okay. I like people like that. So then they have extra money. So then in that case, you would advise them to maybe get multiple townhouses so they can rent them out.
So I try to stay away with anything that has condo fees, because then you're limited to what you like strata title, because then you're limited by bylaws in terms of long-term, short-term rentals. Right off the bat, Airbnbs generally are a no-go. But
Okay.
what we look at is, there's 2 types of people. I find people that like $1.5 million homes, and people that like 1.5 million in homes. So I am the latter, which I feel like you are as well. And there's nothing wrong with either. But the reason why I have 3 homes is because each of them are valued at 450, 600, and 530
Right.
versus 1.5 million. So
Right.
instead of having to work to pay my bills, essentially my northeast home paid for my lifestyle here. This home here is now going to pay for my lifestyle at the other house. And I find people are doing it backwards. They just want to buy a home, and they see as a home as their main home. Yes, it's true. But realistically, if you're not aiming to have a second or a third home, and you only have one home and more than one child, the reality of it is, and this is the conversations I have with my clients now, which I didn't have a couple of years ago, was, are you going to be in a position when you buy this home that in a year or 2, 3 years from now, we're going to be keeping this home and buying a second one because you have 2 kids, and unless you're playing favorites, when you're gone, who's getting the house? And it's not a conversation I used to think, and it's not a conversation that I hope sounds condescending, but it's a conversation that I would have with my friends that I care about, because I genuinely look at the situation where my wife and I want to have children. But if I only had one home in 20 years from now, no chance in anywhere they're going to be able to afford a home in a capital city in 2044.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
let's
exciting.
retire now. Yeah.
It's sobering as well. It's actually sobering. So yeah, listeners, you heard that. Instead of buying one $2 million house, rather buy 4 properties. And you held up 4. So I was right. 4 properties, each worth maybe $500,000 or $400,000.
And people
So that
overthink
way
it, like
you
they make
have,
it so hard. Yeah.
yeah, that way you have more money in-house than more house in money. How did you put it, Joseph?
Well, you can have 1.5, you can have a $1.5 million house, or you can have 1.5 million in houses, I guess would be
In
the.
houses. There you go. So you have the 1.5 million in houses, not $1.5 million for one house. Good job. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Joseph, you and I can stay here and talk for the rest of the year because, we're both passionate about real estate. And I really love the fact that you made some time out for us to do these recordings. God bless you for us. God keep you. God bless your wife. She's been generous for giving us your time. And
Absolutely.
thank you so much for everything that you have taught us. And listeners, everyone, I shared Joseph's Instagram, and he has a lot of beautiful stories in there, more than almost 2,000 posts, 1,250 posts, more than 3,500 followers. So please follow him and learn a lot. And if you need to contact him, you have his contact on Instagram as well. Joseph, thank you.
Oh, thanks for having us, Dr. Rose. Happy to help you, friends, anytime. Talk soon.
Awesome. God bless you.
Bless
Have a
you.
good night, everybody.
Bye all.
Bye.